Doug Hanson. I'm a live looping artist, and I've teamed up with Singular Sound on this video demonstration about the Aeros, BeatBuddy, and MIDI Maestro. In this video, I'll be showing how I use these three pedals together for a powerful looping setup. If you aren't familiar with any of the Singular Sound gear, let me give you a quick rundown. The Aeros Loop Studio is a multi-track looper. It records high-fidelity stereo 44.1 kHz audio recorded in a 32-bit floating point environment, which parallels professional recording setups. The Aeros can record up to 6 parallel tracks, and each one can be overdubbed. The Aeros also allows for 6 different song parts, making the possibility for complexity and song structure much higher. The pedal has excellent visual feedback, which is similar to the experience of recording audio in any DAW. The Aeros can be used as a standalone unit or synced via MIDI with other devices. The Singular Sound team keeps working on new updates, so there's a lot of room for growth. The BeatBuddy is a drum machine in a pedal format with multiple genres and grooves. It plays 24-bit high-quality samples in true stereo with MIDI capabilities, making it a powerful tool for performing, recording, and practicing. Make sure to check out a video in the description that explains the BeatBuddy functions in more detail. Where these two pedals become even more powerful is with the addition of the MIDI Maestro. The MIDI Maestro is a MIDI foot controller that has modes already set up for the Aeros and the BeatBuddy. Using the MIDI Maestro along with the Aeros and BeatBuddy gives you access to additional functions and makes looping and structuring your performances simple and effective. You can learn more about the MIDI Maestro modes in detail in the videos in the description. So let's get into the setup. To get these pedals to talk to one another, we'll be MIDI syncing them. You'll need a MIDI breakout cable that you can get from the Singular Sound website, as well as 2 standard 5-pin MIDI cables. Once we get it all connected, we'll be able to control both the Aeros and the BeatBuddy using the MIDI Maestro. First, connect the MIDI breakout cable to the BeatBuddy. Then the MIDI in on the breakout cable connects to the MIDI out on the MIDI Maestro. Finally, connect the MIDI out on the breakout cable to the MIDI in on the Aeros. You'll know that you have the units in sync when the screen on the Aeros says MIDI sync on and the tempo matches the tempo on the BeatBuddy. One huge benefit of syncing the Aeros with the BeatBuddy is that all of the loops that you record can be quantized to the grooves on the BeatBuddy, meaning that the beginning and end of each loop will line up perfectly with the beginning and end of each measure on the BeatBuddy. Other than having these pedals in sync with each other for the tempo of the loop, we can also send commands to each pedal. If we go into Aeros mode on the MIDI Maestro, we get all of the commands that control the Aeros. I like to use 6x6 mode, so I'll go into that list. We then see a list of commands, like being able to play each part of the loop in any order, mute and unmute individual tracks, as well as recording new parts and tracks, and undo and redo. Holding down the bottom left and middle buttons on the MIDI Maestro brings you back to the mode selection screen. Now let's check out BeatBuddy mode. In this mode, we have some more navigation commands, like being able to enter the folders on the BeatBuddy and being able to scroll up and down. We also have a tap tempo that you'll see change the tempo on the BeatBuddy screen. If we enter the accent hits folder, we're able to manually play samples from the BeatBuddy. Once we hit start, we hear the intro fill, and then the Aeros and BeatBuddy start playing perfectly in sync. We can then use the Aeros to start recording our layers, and then use the MIDI Maestro to select different song parts. One nice thing is that when you switch song parts using the MIDI Maestro, not only does the part change on the Aeros, but it also changes the part on the BeatBuddy and includes the transition fill between parts. However, if you don't want the beat to change on the BeatBuddy, you can use the Aeros to change song parts. So there are a lot of options controlling the Aeros and BeatBuddy with the MIDI Maestro, and it's a really powerful setup that's really easy and convenient to use, which is definitely what you want for a live looping setup.